Pacifica Radio, I'm Christina Onnested. The Federal Reserve is expected to increase interest rates today for the second time in recent weeks in an effort to stymie inflation, though critics like Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren have warned increased interest rates and a slowing economy could trigger a recession. Mary Sherman has more.
2 negative quarters of GDP growth is not the technical definition of recession.
As the White House braces for a potentially dour economic report, National Economic Advisor Brian Deese told reporters the nation's fiscal stability is measured by more than GDP and inflation.
The most important question economically is whether working people and middle-class families have more breathing room, they have more job opportunities, their wages are going up in a stable way, and they're able to afford important things in their lives.
New GDP numbers will be released tomorrow, which analysts predict will be negative for the second quarter in a row. On Tuesday, new data revealed consumer confidence fell in July to the lowest level since February 2021. For Pacifica Network and Public News Service, I'm Mary Sherman.
Former President Donald Trump returned to Washington Tuesday for the first time since leaving office. He delivered a speech repeating the false claim that he won the 2020 presidential election and teased a possible presidential campaign in 2024. Eileen Alfandary reports.
Former President Donald Trump sprinkled his hour-and-a-half-long speech with references to the 2020 presidential election. He repeated the lie that he really won and teased the possibility that he'll run again in 2024.
I always say I ran the first time and I won. Then I ran a second time and I did much better. We got millions and millions more votes. And you know what? That's going to be a story for a long time. What a disgrace it was. But we may just have to do it again.
Trump denounced the January 6th committee, which has been building the case that he was responsible for assembling and dispatching the mob that attacked the Capitol to prevent certification of Joe Biden's win.
Now we have the January 6th Unselect Committee of Political Hacks and Thugs.
Trump addressed a summit organized by a group of former White House officials and cabinet members who've been crafting an agenda for a possible second Trump administration. Hours earlier, former Vice President Mike Pence addressed a conservative student group. He said the Republican Party must look to the future. It was a contrast to Trump's message, but Pence turned aside a question about their differences.
I don't know that our movement is that divided.
I'm Eileen Alfandary for Pacifica Radio.
A man who attacked police officers with poles during the Capitol siege has been sentenced to more than 5 years in prison. It's the longest prison term so far among hundreds of Capitol riot prosecutions. More than 200 other Trump supporters who stormed the Capitol on January 6th have been sentenced so far. 800 face prosecutions. Democrats on the House Oversight Committee are expected to grill the CEOs of firearm manufacturers today during a congressional panel on gun violence. The topic of the hearing is the gun industry's role on the nation's epidemic of gun violence. It comes after a series of mass shootings, including in Highland Park, Illinois, Uvalde, Texas, Buffalo, New York, and Laguna Woods, California. The Gun Violence Archive reports more than 25,000 gun violence deaths and 371 mass shootings in the U.S. so far this year. President Biden plans to speak with Chinese President Xi Jinping Thursday amidst new tensions between Washington, D.C. and Beijing over China's claims to Taiwan. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi reportedly plans to visit the island, which governs itself, even though China considers it a part of its territory. U.S. military officials say they will beef up military presence in and around the region should Xi take that trip. The Biden administration is weighing whether to declare a monkeypox as a public health emergency. This comes days after the World Health Organization director made the declaration Monday. Here's Dr. Anthony Fauci.
There are now over 80 countries throughout the world who have cases, more than 16,000 cases in non-endemic countries. So this is something we're taking very seriously.
Impacted cities like San Francisco have decried the federal government's response so far to the monkeypox outbreak in the U.S. A woman in Texas was denied abortion access despite carrying a dying fetus, in line with Texas's abortion ban that severely curtails abortion access. Another woman in Texas was forced to carry her dead fetus for 2 weeks after she miscarried due to Texas's abortion ban. It's one of many repercussions in a post-Roe world since the Supreme Court overturned the landmark abortion rights ruling Roe v. Wade. A sexual assault survivor told the Associated Press she was opting for sterilization, so if she were to be raped again, she wouldn't be forced to give birth to a rapist child. Amnesty International says the Taliban's suffocating crackdown on the rights of Afghan women and girls is destroying their lives. The London-based watchdog said in a new report that since the Taliban took control of the country nearly a year ago, they've violated women's and girls' rights. They've banned girls from attending school from 7th grade, imposed all-covering dresses that leaves only the eyes visible, and restricted women's access to work. I'm Christina Onnested, reporting for Pacifica Radio.